Today on the American Truck Podcast, Pokemon Go got an update. Blizzard is killing XP and Vista. Cities Skylines is coming to Xbox. And a Nintendo Switch was stolen? Hello and welcome to the American Truck Podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
Souls Part 2.
And Freelance Gamer.
I hit a pole.
I'm so leaving you behind.
I mean, I'm right behind you now.
Well, if you die, can I have your soul?
Oh. But it's the key to it's the key to looking good. I mean, maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's the souls of his friends.
I'm pretty sure it's Maybelline, but
If it's a horse, is it then Maybelline?
I don't think so.
That's unfortunate.
Stupid freeway entrance.
Yeah.
The freeway entrance is not the only difficult thing. Sometimes it's also difficult to catch a lot of Pokemon.
Oh my goodness, yes. Especially when you add 80 of the Generation 2 Johto Pokemon to the roundup here.
Yeah.
I can testify, not from personal experience, but from secondhand experience, that so far it's been a pretty fantastic update. With this update, we also saw a bunch of UI changes and just some really great tweaks to the game that I think are really helping out the player experience. One of the things that I really liked in particular was Pokemon are no longer in just the center of the screen. So rather than playing Pokemon Skee-Ball all day, you actually have some variety built in. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Something noteworthy at least. And people were actually they were in the 3D printing community even, were 3D printing enclosures that you would put over your phone, and it's like, put finger here, flick it up to here, done.
I remember you showing me that.
And it was just kind of silly.
A little bit.
Now that's well, at least you have a 1 in 3 chance of that no longer being useful. But speaking of things that are long dead and discontinued, our resident Blizzard reporter, Freelance Gamer, do you want to speak to Blizzard discontinuing their support of XP and Vista-based systems?
Get off those systems.
And why is it that that our users should get off of the Vista and XP based system?
All right, if you use Vista, Vista's garbage. We're gonna start there. XP stopped being supported by its own producer, Microsoft, about 2 years ago now? Year and a half?
I thought it was only a year ago.
I feel like it was a year and a half ago.
I think it's coming up on 2 years probably.
It might be.
Yeah.
I'm frankly not sure.
So that's good. So if that means if Blizzard does any updates to their new system, which they're trying to move away, which I think we've talked about before, they're trying to move away from Battle.net as a thing.
Mhm.
They're trying to rebrand. If they're trying to build a new system and they have to sit there and make it compatible for your 32-bit system, buy a new computer.
Wait, I thought Vista was 64-bit.
Vista is. I'm talking about
able
XP.
to be 64-bit, but not
And so
everyone
is
had
XP.
64-bit Vista.
And a
It's
majority
not
of systems
everyone
do
had
not.
64-bit Windows 7.
Is this how there's not a 64? There is a 64-bit XP, but it's kind of it's so
It
sparse
came
that
out a whole lot later, and it was real poop.
it was
Correct.
kind of buggy as crap, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, all of Vista was buggy.
No, XP. XP had a
No, yeah,
64-bit edition that was just
No, that's
It
my.
was
that-
the world's buggiest thing,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
My point is more towards if you're on the Vista system and you're thinking, well, XP's out, but why am I?
Yeah.
You should
Your
stop.
support ended a long time ago as well.
Yeah.
Thus the train trucks forward. I'd be surprised actually if any of the old XP and Vista systems could run a current gen Blizzard game, even with all the settings cranked all the way down.
Hearthstone.
Oh yeah, it's true. I didn't think about
Off the
Hearthstone.
bat. Also, probably Diablo 3 because it hasn't done as many visual updates. Did a couple.
That's true.
And
That's
then
true.
maybe you could run World of Warcraft.
Maybe. There's a couple of subreddits I know that are dedicated to low-end PC gaming, like on the stupid low end. And so there's a community for it of people who want to try to go GPU-less, the silly folks that they are. And I say that knowing full well that there's other communities out there and places where getting a GPU is much harder than it is for a middle-class white guy in the States.
Right.
It's just the way it is. So, that being said, though, I think it's an interesting situation.
Indeed. So if you do have one of those systems, you need to move away from them because Blizzard is going to be ending support later this year. But,
While we're on the subject of old stuff that is finally being taken care of, do we want to jump down to talking about Team Fortress 2?
Sure, why not? Yes, it was discovered recently that a 10-year-old bug has finally been fixed in Team Fortress. Basically, the skinny of it was if you picked Scout, Heavy, or Sniper, and then switched after joining to any other of them, not including those ones, or vice versa, where you would basically end up keeping the hitbox of your original person on those other classes.
The good news is that didn't affect tournament play much, as you stayed on one team during tournament play. So some people I saw, because I saw about this, were like, "Oh, that's no wonder this game failed as a tournament game," and I don't think that's the reason.
Yeah, that seems like kind of a stretch. I do find this is rather obscure in the world of software bugs, but nevertheless, I mean, I'm glad that Valve is still actively patching up systems, and I think that's always a good thing to see.
Indeed, yeah. I guess it was something to do with like syncing the local stuff and the server side stuff, and something to do with an animation that caused the whole problem.
Yeah, I saw some reports on it, and it was really fascinating to see like how the hitbox follows the character model, and just some of the ways. And I guess you could have exploited it for tournament play, but it's a rare occurrence, if that.
I mean, not really in any legal format. I mean, it was kind of. I think this actually wasn't that unknown of a bug. It was just more. It was just more of a not fixed bug.
Ah, gotcha. But I guess speaking of things that, or I guess on the subject of things that aren't hidden knowledge, so City Skylines will be coming finally to the Xbox One.
Skitty
And I know
Skylines?
this is, yeah, absolutely, Skitty Skylines. It's a part of that whole Generation 2 Pokemon Go thing. Andy, I know this is definitely one of your more favorite games, despite the fact that the Xbox One is not one of your favorite systems, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it isn't. Apparently, they have made this a console-optimized version, which is good because it would be kind of difficult to play on a console if it wasn't. It is kind of falls into that weird classification like Minecraft on the Xbox, where everything's kind of really annoying and convoluted to do because it's a whole lot easier on a keyboard and mouse, pointing and clicking and whatnot. So you've got to use cursors and whatnot. It's going to be a mess, I'm sure, but it's good for the console plebs to be able to get to experience the game, even though it's going to be a whole lot way less fun than if you just played it on a PC.
I do find it interesting that, to make this easier, we could just plug a keyboard and mouse into an Xbox, and I am on my side. Nope, I'm upright again, I think. But anyway, nope, my wheels are caught. I am toast. I am buttered toast. But anyway, what I was saying while I F7 my way out of here, if one were to plug in a keyboard and mouse to an Xbox One, or wouldn't you just have a gaming PC?
Sort of.
Because I thought they ran x86 chips, but I could totally be wrong.
They do.
I'm not sure.
The game needs to support the controls.
That's true.
That one. As
Game
long
already
as they
supports
support it, then yeah, that's totally a doable
The
thing.
original game does. The port may not.
Very true. It's one of those interesting things that if we had more time in a podcast, we might be able to discuss the differences between modern consoles and their PC counterparts. Speaking of some deep research, though, somebody took some really deep research with the Nintendo Switch, and really wanted to get their hands on that Nintendo Switch, and apparently a unit has been reported stolen from one that made it out into the public.
Indeed, yeah. There was a guy who had claimed that his Switch was delivered early by the company he had chose to purchase it from, and it was a lot of hullabaloo about the fact that a pre-order was getting out. Basically, when it came out, I believe it was 2.5-3 weeks early.
Was this the guy who had the Switch but he didn't have any games? I think I saw a post
that was
about this on Reddit.
That was the guy.
Okay,
Yep.
I know about the guy.
And so there was, it was very suspect, of
course. You kind of go, well, who's going to break their street date on a console this big and risk that problem? And, well, it turns out that, well, the console was actually stolen and resold. And that's probably most likely how this guy got the console in the first place. And it wasn't necessarily that it was shipped early.
Huh.
So Nintendo has reassured everyone that the people involved were sacked, and the people involved with the people have been sacked.
There has been much sacking occurring.
Indeed.
It's a fascinating story, and I think as we approach the Switch's launch, we will see more and more of this convoluted schemification occurring.
Well, it's a very, very short period of time since there's only a week left till it launches. So.
Yeah, don't remind me. I still haven't gotten my email that more pre-orders are available. A little salty.
Indeed.
But well, as we kind of transition out, because this has been a really slow news week, I was wondering if we could go around and discuss if we've played any more obscure games this week that maybe have not necessarily seen too much limelight, and not for nothing, just to kind of help to fill the void that is the American Truck Simulator podcast. So I'll start. I have been playing I haven't technically been playing yet, but I have been eagerly looking to starting, and I'll kind of explain why in a second here. A MMO RPG that has existed since 1996, known as Gemstone 4. And what's really unique about this game is if you understand the concept of a multi-user dungeon, or MUD for short, they were these games that you would tunnel into back in the day, back before we had the internet as we know it, as my engine malfunctions. And basically you'd play by typing in commands. So it's a lot of this text-based read-along, but the whole system just seems very interesting, very in-depth, and it's been persisting for over 2 decades now. I mean, this game is of legal drinking age, which I think is really fascinating, just in its own right, and that the fact that the community still continues to be active today. So yeah, that's my pick for obscure games you may not have played.
Yeah, it's very obscure sounding. I've never even heard of MUD. So
yeah, it's from the older geeks. I think are more of the guys who are in their 30s and 40s are definitely more of the MUD generation than us.
Right. Yeah, because we had the internet when we started to.
Right, we had RuneScape.
Yeah, RuneScape was a huge thing.
Oh yeah.
But that is not my obscure game. My obscure game, if you want to call it obscure, is a little indie, pre-alpha, super early access type game. It's called Production Line. Basically, you purchase a car manufacturing plant, and you've got some places to bring resources in and export cars out, and you do a bunch of research, put a production line together, hence the name, and you build and export cars one by one, and you do a bunch of things to make it more efficient and to have different models with different levels of features and whatnot, and your goal is basically not to run out of money and lose.
Well, I'm playing this really, really obscure game. It's kind of difficult. It's called Dark Souls.
Never heard of it.
I presume it has something about souls that are dark. But don't quote me on that.
For me, I guess my obscure game would. For me, it's actually been playing Hearthstone and not playing a lot of the meta decks, particularly Pirate Warrior, and trying to rank. And if anybody's watching this and they play Hearthstone, they'll know exactly what the hell I'm talking about.
So it's not like you're playing an obscure game, but you're playing a game obscurely?
Obscurely, yeah.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
Genie OTK, OP.
A lot of letters being thrown around there. A lot of letters.
A lot of letters, yeah.
I know some of those words.
And those letters existed. I don't know what they mean, though.
Nope. Rip your letters.
That bombshell, it is time to end. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the American Truck Podcast. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button down below. Perhaps leave a comment down below as well. Maybe hit the subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.